Lightning, I'll answer. Soldier of God, or when someone's talking, I think what we should do, and it's not your fault, Soldier of God, I know the room's kind of laggy because there's a bunch of people here. Here's the thing. White Lightning, when you say atheism, I'm confused. Let me tell you why. I ask atheists what atheism is, and they don't even know what the hell it is, man. They're deluded. Some atheists say atheism is a rejection of God. And then I'm going to ask you what you think it is. Some say, no, we do believe God could exist. Some say, well, we don't really know if God exists. So my question to you, so I can tell you, answer your question, what do you say atheism is? Is it number one, the rejection of God, or is it number two, you really believe God could exist? So do you believe God can exist, that it is possible for him to exist, or do you flat out reject any God existing? Because I do get 3 or 4 different answers when I ask atheists that. So what type of atheist are you?
I think it's possible God does exist, I just don't think it's very likely.
Okay, so you're an agnostic, you're not really a hard atheist. So you do believe God could exist, so you're a limited God believer.
No, I don't believe in God. I don't think he exists.
Okay, so if you were to try... Yeah, go ahead, man, I'm sorry. Take it.
What would it require for you to accept an even stronger possibility of a supreme deity or a god, for example?
It would have to be lots of evidence, such as, well, for instance, a holy book that didn't contradict itself, that actually went along with science and went along with...
You mean like the God delusion?
No, I haven't even read the God delusion, actually.
Because that contradicts itself.
The Bible does, too. But, that's...
No, it doesn't. I have...
Oh,
it,
so doesn't...
It doesn't.
About Judas killing himself?
Well, here's the thing. If you say that you do believe God can exist, what percentage of you says God can exist, and what percentage of your mind says that he couldn't exist?
I'm 95% sure God does not exist, or it's very...
So what... Okay, the 5%, what makes you think 5%? Let's talk about the 5%. What part of you says God can exist? Because you said 5% of you, so what is making you think God can exist? Because you said obviously 5% of you does think he can exist. So what do you... What?
I can be wrong about stuff. I know I'm not...
Okay, you want me to tell you why I believe... I'll give you a couple reasons why I believe God... Okay, well, hold on a second. El Haraya wants to say something. Go ahead, El Haraya. I'm sorry, man, I wasn't looking at the chat.
That's fine, that's fine. I just want to point out something here. Agnosticism is not an alternative to atheism. They deal with 2 completely separate bodies of knowledge. I put that wrong. They deal with 2 completely separate, I'm not sure how to say it, fields, sets of thought, I guess. Agnosticism belongs to the category of field knowledge. Atheism belongs to the category of belief, which includes atheism and theism. These terms deal with belief. So it's possible to be both at once, because belief, while different from knowledge, is derived from knowledge. So you can be an agnostic atheist, like White is saying. I just want to say that they're separate things, and it's not like one is the opposite of the other, or one is an alternative option to another one. You can be both. You can be an agnostic atheist.
Actually, they contradict each other. Soldier of God, they contradict each other. It's impossible for an atheist and an agnostic... An atheist says, no, God cannot exist, it's impossible. Then another type of atheist says, well, it is possible God can exist. Both of those statements obviously contradict each other. But let me answer White Lightning, would you... I know you didn't say that, Soldier of God, but I'm telling you based on what they're saying. Hold on, Blue, let me talk real fast and answer White's Yeah, and when you respond, White, because I'm going to get off the mic right now, but when you respond, will you answer this question? Here's the question. Do you think most of the world is rational or crazy? Do you think most of the world is rational, or are they insane? Because the obvious answer is most of the world is rational. We do have some insane people in the world. So I'm going to release the mic, but would you agree that most of the world is
crazy? One's perfectly rational.
Would you say most of the world's rational, or most of it is crazy? Like, what percentage would you say is crazy? Surely not 50% of the world. Okay, White, is atheism the default position? And let me get off the mic. But okay, then see, here's the problem. If atheism is the default position, why are so many people leaving atheism? The reason why recent studies show atheism is now the least trusted group in society. Why is it that over 90% of the world does believe a God exists? They're trying to reach this God in different ways. Islam, Christianity, Judaism. But over 90% believe that God exists. So we do know that most of the world is rational. They're not insane people. Why is it that all these people are being born as atheists, and atheism is but a squeak in society? Last time I checked, it's about 4% of the world are atheists. I'm not talking about non-religious. There's people that believe in God, they're not religious. So if you're right, I'm going to pop up right now, but if you're right that, everyone's born as an atheist, then why are so many people leaving atheism when over 90% of the world confesses that
Sweet person.
God exists?
I'll answer this. I was brought up Christian. Basically, as soon as I can remember, my parents were bringing me to church, doing the whole Jesus loves you stuff. I think it has a lot to do with the way you raised me. This is all stuff, like, Christianity's been around for 2,000 years, back before we knew what an animal was. They didn't have a lot of answers, so they came with these stories to come up and fill in the gaps. And it got passed down through the generations. My parents were Christian. My grandparents were Christian. That's just how it is. I think it has a lot to do with being taught that there is a God who loves you when you're a little kid. It's the first thing they pound in your head before they even potty train you.
But I thought you said you were born as an atheist. Oh, go ahead, guys. But how does? Here's the thing: if well, you said you're born atheist, right?
I was when I was 3. Like when I first understood the English language. That's when your parents started giving me, Noah's Ark coloring books and reading me the Bible and stuff like that.
But I'm not making an argument for the existence of God.
Okay, so why do you think?
You said the same thing.
Go ahead, Soldier. I'll let you guys talk for like 5 minutes, so I don't interrupt.
people that are raised Christian, like you were, couldn't the same thing happen if they were put in school and their alternative suggestions, like people were saying, well, if God exists, then why is all this evil out here? And we have all this proof for evolution, then couldn't the same be said for atheists being indoctrinated?
I wasn't taught about evolution until freshman year of high school, which was 2 years ago for me. It's a big difference from being 13 and 3. When I'm 3, I believed in Santa Claus.
Well, yeah.
13,
Oh no!
I was making foolish.
You guys, what does that mean? He's talking about Santa Claus. He's got Santa syndrome. Oh no! Santa syndrome.
Diagnosed me a while ago, Shock.
What I was saying was, what I was about to say. I've known about the creation-evolution argument ever since I was probably like 6, and I've actually been able to notice that from 1st grade on up through like 8th grade, when they finally came out with evolution in 8th grade, they were gradually teaching it to us. We just didn't really know it yet. Saying stuff like animals change gradually over time, saying things like the Earth is millions and billions of years old. They were subtly teaching us evolution, but we didn't realize it until they came right out with it when we were older.
Evolution has nothing to do with the ages of the Earth. Just saying.
Yes, it
If
does.
the world was 10,000 years old, evolution would still be true. like 4.6 billion, like in years.
Well, we have to define
Still
evolution.
be true. It's
We have to
two
define
different
evolution.
related-
What
Evolution, according to
We have to
my
define
high school
evolution.
biology textbooks, was natural selection and reproduction with variation. That's all it is. That's the two most basic points. That's as brief and cut and dry and just as bland and broad as you can get for evolution.
Okay. Well, we've defined it now, because like some people when they're quote defending evolution, they're defending what you're defending, the change between species. Other people when they defend, quote evolution, they're defending the Big Bang and due to you by the
That's
way of
because
the
you've
zoo
heard enough.
evolution.
Ma-
I believe in microevolution.
May I please answer to what's been discussed before? I've been trying to answer for 10 minutes. I've been letting you lot answer for yourselves, but I want to go back to the whole default position argument. Why do we have to assign a default position to a child who cannot even recognise themselves in a mirror until they're 1.5 years old? Can't we just say that they're neither? Because saying that they are theist is to say that they're born believing that, for instance, Jesus Christ was the Son of God. Saying that they're atheist, saying that they're born as a default atheist is to say that they reject Jesus Christ was God when they were born. Can they not be neither? Can they be completely agnostic completely when they're born? Can they be neither atheist nor theist? Why is there this false dichotomy that they have to be either atheist or theist when they're born? Because to be atheist, you have to know about theist claims. And kids when they're born do not know about theist claims. So a kid cannot be atheist when they're born, nor can they be theist.
I agree with that.
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
I don't agree with this false dichotomy that a child can be born default atheist or default theist. A child is born with no knowledge whatsoever, apart from what the inside of their mother looks like. And they forget that within 10 minutes as well.
Alright, back to what we were saying earlier. What were you getting at?
I forget. I'm being honest here. I forgot.
We talk about evolution, I believe.
We were defining evolution, I think.
I think this one from Wikipedia. I know it's from Wikipedia, but I think it sums it up pretty well. It says evolution is the change over time, the proportion of individual organisms differing in one or more inherited traits. And that seems succinct.
Darwin's definition of it.
That's
exactly it.
That's what truly evolution is, but evolution is also classified as, the
I think Shock is still AFK.
Shock is back. Shock is here, I believe. Are you Shock? Are you here?
He went to go do something, I don't think so.
He's talking in the chat room, the chat bit. But you're defining evolution. Evolution, as defined by most dictionaries and by most of the scientific community, is the change in allelic frequencies over time.
Mighty being.
By the way,
I'm not denying that. What I deny is
Mighty being.
like Christians and atheists both just a lot of times evolution is used to describe the atheist worldview.
It's only done after people like, say, Kent Hovind or Ken Ham sit there and think that either A, atheism is atheistic, which it isn't, or that B, it has something to do with the Big Bang, or something to do with the age of the Earth. It doesn't.
pointing fingers. It's not always us.
This is
I've been in
stuff that's
plenty
on
of debates.
videotape. This is on videotape. Stuff like that is on videotape. Of them saying that you have to either be a creation.
Ken Hovind defines evolution, though.
He gets it.
At the beginning of the seminar, I mean, that's what really got me into evolution versus creation. I have his first seminar memorized, and I know he defines evolution at the very beginning of it.
ShockofGod wants to
He
say
defines
something.
micro and macro evolution. Alright, go Shock.
It's good to shut the mics up when we're talking if you want, so it doesn't play. Well, one of the reasons why I just can't bring myself to believe that the universe created itself as we know, all of the major scientists, most scientists believe that the universe had a beginning, and it either has to be a natural beginning, which is pretty unlikely since the universe is made up of nature, or it has to be a supernatural beginning. Something outside of space-time had to create it. I want you guys to, how could nature create itself? How could it do that? Because that's what we either have to believe that the universe created itself out of nothing, and we know that is irrational, because out of nothing, nothing comes, or it had to be a supernatural.
Actually, I want to.
So how could?
I want to point out that
How could?
that people
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
have observed virtual particles. Physicists have observed.
Well, energy has created that. It doesn't come out of nothing.
Like
No.
that's what
Actually,
that's what they
energy is
observe.
creating that.
I'm telling you.
It's not creating on its
What they
own.
observe.
Energy is creating it.
I'm not saying what.
I'm telling you what it is. It's energy.
How do you know what's? How do you know though?
Chuck,
It's energy that actually creates it. Science has already said it's the energy that creates that. But anyways, back to what we're saying. So, and I'm fine with if energy is creating it, but something had to create even that. So if something has to be, I'm getting to that. God's not natural. See, that's the problem. So how do you guys say, those of you that believe the universe was created from nothing by itself, how do you say it was created? Because it is pretty far-fetched to think that nature, that a natural universe created itself out of nothing. We know that out of nothing, nothing comes.
alright. First Shock.
Who's also to say that the energy is...
That's impossible for the universe to create itself. You're saying that's impossible for the universe to create itself. You're saying it's completely plausible for God to create himself, to always exist.
As a matter of fact, what makes more sense? I'm saying which makes more rational sense. If I had 1,000 people in front of me, I'm telling you this. Well, you can prove that there's a cause and effect to this, that something natural has to be created. So go ahead, explain, give us a better reason how nature created itself. Tell us how that happened. I would like to see the evidence of that.
I'm not a scientist. I don't
I'm not
understand
either.
things like quantum physics, and therefore I'm not going to try and make any claims about it. But just because we don't know things about like how the universe was created does not automatically mean that it was a supernatural cause. Personally, for me,
But it also doesn't. Would you agree, White Lightning, that it doesn't mean that there was that it doesn't necessarily mean that there can't be a God either? Would you agree with that?
true.
Okay.
To say, but to a
All
certain
I'm saying
degree,
is,
based on that is a false.
all I'm saying is, look at both sides. I'll hop off the mic, guy. Look at how nature would have to bring itself into existence. Let's use our brains, or out of nothing, it's going to create itself. That's pretty much unlikely. Or something outside of space and time had to create it. I'm not talking like the God that the atheists think the God, like a Santa Claus-looking God. I'm talking about a mind that's not inside a body, an unembodied mind that actually creates it. That makes totally much more sense than the universe created itself out of nothing. Atheists admitted, and every scientist will admit, they have self.
I'm just saying, given that even if there was a first cause to the universe, and even if this first cause had some sort of intelligence, we have absolutely no way of knowing whether or not this is a god or the God of the Bible. It could just as well have been an intelligence beyond our capacity that's God-like, but not necessarily an all-knowing, completely all-knowing, all-powerful, all-loving entity that most people would call a god. It could have been intelligent beings, aliens even, that are so intelligent and beyond... Hold on, I'm trying to figure out how to articulate this. Like, God-like beings that are... Or it could have been a collective intelligence. It could have been a bunch of
or it could be
beings
God.
gathered together. Or it could be a machine created by... It could be a god, but I'm just saying that that's not the first thing that we should assume. Even if it's intelligent, and even if it, yeah, it could have been a machine created.
Well,
by
the first thing, Soldier of God, would you agree that the first thing that would come to mind? Well, I'm saying, see, I don't know. I just don't think like you guys. I try to think rational. Well, I don't mean to offend you, but I think, how could nature create itself out of nothing?
Dragon
Yeah.
700.
Shock, do you know that mass can be...
That doesn't happen. So it's a creator for everything that comes. So hold on. So, and now you guys are saying, no, we don't know how that is. All I'm saying is, if there was 1,000...
Shock, what are you asking me?
Listen, if I listened to a debate... Yeah, hold on, guys. I listened to a debate. It was Christopher Hitchens. I'm sorry, it was William Lane Craig and some other atheists. And they had a call-in debate, right? And there was about 1,000 people that called in, and I can get you the copy of this debate. There's tons of them. And I'm not talking about you and I. These are neutral people listening to the radio show. And Craig had the position of, look, let's look at what is more rational. Yes, nature could have created itself out of nothing, or what Soldier of God said, there could have been aliens or whatever, or a god could have created all this. What is more plausible? And the least favorite answer that made sense to most people, I'm not talking about you and I individually, but overall, was nature bringing itself into existence. Everyone was swaying more towards what like Soldier of God was saying and what I'm saying. And matter of fact, at the end of the debate, William Lane Craig won the debate because they said whoever wins, you get to donate $2,000 to your favorite charity. And this was in the UK, my UK friends. It was a UK radio show, which isn't a bastion of Christianity over there. So, I mean, come on, guys. How could we say nature created itself out of nothing? I just can't. I don't have enough blind faith for that.
Do you not agree that mass can be created from energy?
I don't have faith in that either.
assuming that
Alright, I'm just gonna say this, Shock. What seems more rational and responsible?
I can't hear anyone.
Answers, or just sitting there and saying, well, it could have been God, it could be that.
Hello? Lag. Serious lag. Did Shock of God get my question?
I didn't get it because I think Soldier of God's mic's on because it's blinking. I think you just have it muted. It's good to just shut it off. Unclick the button. That tends to lag us. Ask the question. I think was the question. Well, would you mind asking again? Because I heard the first part and then I didn't hear anything. I only heard like 6 seconds.
Sure. Do you believe that mass can be created out of energy?
I believe math cannot create anything. See,
No, math.
I know where
Mass.
you're going with this. I've heard this argument. Math, M-A-T-H, right?
Mass. I'll type in chat.
Mass.
Oh, mass.
Massive.
Yeah, I heard it. Mass cannot be created or destroyed. I've heard that.
No, it can be
But,
created by energy.
The question you guys were asking was, well, I'm saying that's what the atheist caller said when he called into my radio show. He goes, it cannot be created or destroyed. You can hear it on my show. I was like, what? Here's the thing. Another problem, once we hop over that, okay, nature created itself, is the fine-tuned universe. This is really the final nail in atheism's coffin. I'm getting so many people to leave atheism because I'm saying, okay, it is fine-tuned. Pardon the dust, it is fine-tuned. Stephen Hawking said if you were to just change like a hair, imagine, you guys heard the analogy, imagine there's all these dials in front of you. If you were to change the weak force or the gravity or anything, just like a hair, I believe it was 10 to the 100th power, the universe would cease to exist. So Dragon King 700, it is fine-tuned. Oh, I'm sorry, Dragon King is a great one. Saying the human brain is not fine-tuned. So that leads me to believe, well, you know what? We obviously have a God that cares for us because we're balanced on a knife's edge. Our life here is balanced on a knife's
To
edge.
say that,
Chuck, let me respond to
who's
that.
to say that life can't arise in other differently fine-tuned conditions that would allow life to come about that would be able to observe these things?
I agree there are some things that are randomness, but I can't agree that all these hundreds and hundreds of thousands of different variables all have to be lined up perfectly, and if one of them's just off just a tad, the universe ceased to exist. So I just can't believe, you guys want me to believe that it all popped about randomly, and this is why 95% of the world believes a God exists, and less than 4% are atheists. So atheists gotta work harder. No one's buying into this atheism myth.
Yes, it is.
The universe is
The high
not
part of
really
those.
I
fine
did respond to that.
The Earth's total mass is 5.9736 times 10 to the 24th kilograms, while the estimated total biomass, the mass of life on Earth, is around 7 times 10 to the 13th kilograms.
But Earth isn't the universe.
I know, and I'm just talking about life. That means that the percentage of life on Earth, when you compare the masses of the mass of life on Earth versus the total mass of the Earth itself, it's 0.00000000117%. And even if you take into account all of the core of the Earth, and remove that from the equation, I still doubt that the Earth itself is very suitable for life.
It goes further than that. The Shock of God claims that the entire universe was created fine-tuned for human beings. If that was the case, then the actual whole universe would be suited to our life. The universe is huge. As you probably all know, the Earth is just but the tiniest speck on the whole thing. How can you claim then that the entire universe, supernova happening billions of miles and miles away, how can you claim that that is all in order to show that we are...
Especially in a universe
Easy.
vacuum.
Easy. Dan Barker brought this up,
So you can live in a
and
supernova easily.
he was saying, well, there's in the debate it was I think it was Christopher Hitchens, Richard Dawkins, and there was Dan Barker, William Lane Craig, and Dan Barker said the stars serve no purpose for the universe. Is that true, gentlemen? The stars, S-T-A-R-S, serve no purpose?
In what
Is Dan
context?
Barker right?
How do you mean exactly?
Purpose implies that there's a person to give it
Purpose for anything. Purpose for anything.
How do we give a purpose to the
Actually,
universe?
No, forget I said that because it all depends on how you define purpose as well, because you can define
Oh
purpose
no,
with-
we're gonna get into the Bill Clinton. But here's the thing.
I'm not. I'm not saying
We
anything.
know that the stars.
I'm admitting a mistake I made. I was sorry. Forget I said anything. Just carry on.
Okay. Now, but here's the thing, you guys. You see, this is why atheism is having such a hard time pushing its worldview into society. This is why less than 5% of the world is buying into the fairy tale of atheism, and why over 90%, I know it's more like 95, but it keeps changing, but well over 90% of the world
Shock, please.
admit that they believe God exists.
The
So what do you think you guys could do to promote atheism? I'm trying to help you here. How can we promote the fairy tale of atheism to get people to believe into it?
Shock, the question...
They're not buying into it. Oh, who was it? White Lightning said... Hold on, Blue. White Lightning said that everyone's born an atheist. Do you guys agree with that? If that's true, then why the hell are so many people leaving atheism?
We agreed that that is not the case. We agreed that's not the case.
Born without knowledge.
Because atheism.
No, we agreed.
Go ahead.
Something else. Knowledge.
We agreed...
But I realized my argument was not
Man, the room goes crazy.
Shock, can I explain the whole default position thing? Shock?
Yeah, let Blue explain it. If you're listening, Shock.
Are you there, ShockofGod?
You guys already agreed that atheism was the default.
No.
So do you believe it is the default position or it's not?
Let me explain. When a child is born, they cannot even recognise themselves...
Alright, go ahead, and I'll shoot it down when you're done.
They cannot even recognise themselves in a mirror till they're 1.5 years old. Children under 1.5 years old
Blue,
have very...
hold on a sec, man. Before you do this, Blue,
Yeah?
before you do this, at the start of what type of atheist are you? Are you an atheist that admits God can exist? Is that your claim, or are you claiming it's impossible for God to exist?
God can exist.
Which type of atheist are you? Because there's so many different kinds.
Let him answer that afterwards. Let him say what we agreed on.
Oh yeah, and don't forget to let us know what type of atheist you are.
Firstly, I'll answer your question. Yes, I think God can exist. But I will say, I'll carry on with my point. When a child is born, they know
Hallelujah.
very, very little. To be an atheist, first you must hear the theist claims. So, a child is never born atheist. Because they haven't heard the theist claims, which is why they're not born theist either. They have to be born, they know very little, and they have to have theist claims explained to them. They're not born thinking that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. They think nothing when they are born. They're explained by their parents what their religious beliefs are, and the only way a child can become an atheist is if they're explained theist beliefs. Because you cannot become an atheist unless you reject the beliefs of atheism, a theist position. So,
Okay,
can a child not be born?
Atheists born? So how are you born? Are you just born not an atheist?
You're born
Or
not.
just a mind of mush? Like,
Why-
are you born nothing?
Why
Is
do
that your position? You're not born with anything.
why do we have to have a sort of left-right system where you're either born atheist or you're born theist? Why can't you be born
So you're
neither?
not an atheist. So the baby's not an atheist. Is that your position? I'll respect whatever position you have.
Nor is it a theist. It's neither. Why do we have to have the left or right system where it has to be either atheist or
Okay,
theist?
go ahead. I'm with you. So you believe, I'm following you, so you believe the baby's born an empty mind of mush, okay? And then they learn
No.
things or whatever, and go ahead, continue.
Why do we? It's like politics. Is a baby born left wing or right wing? You know, it doesn't know about politics yet, so it can't have a position either way.
Okay, so then how does the person come into being an atheist?
Well, it hears theistic beliefs, and if it rejects those beliefs, it becomes an atheist.
Okay, were you done? Or did you want to add more to that? Because then I have a response.
I'm done. You can have your response.
Okay, I am totally happy with that. And it appears to me that atheism is not, would you guys agree atheism is not doing a good job at convincing people that the worldview of atheism is right? Because, and I'm going to tell you what some of the problems is. first of all, Blue and White Lightning, I love you guys, but both of you contradicted each other. White Lightning in the beginning said, everyone's born an atheist. And then and both of you guys are atheists. And then you said, well, no, that's not necessarily correct. What happens is you get educated, and you basically come to learn what you're believing. Well, it seems like the majority of the people are rejecting atheism. So either way, if you're born as an atheist, that's bad, because then over 90% of the people in the world believe a God exists. If you're not born an atheist, that's bad too, because it doesn't seem like people are buying into it. And I'm going to tell you why. I think the atheist community needs, like, the Ten Commandments, or a Bible, or something, because atheism actually contradicts each other. One atheist, well, it is a religion. You're in the United States, in the U.S., the courts have ruled that it is a religion. It totally is. I don't agree with it, but
so that the government can't kick down my door and arrest me.
well, they'll still kick.
That's the only reason God's not a religion.
So,
Mighty being.
White, most of us here believe that atheism was the default position. Through rational argument, we came to the conclusion that we were mistaken, and we changed our view based on this. So it's not a contradiction. It's
Well,
just we
it is a
changed our view based on.
It is a contradiction, not between you guys, but between the entire atheist community. Because I got videos on my channel. You can go see them. You've seen them. Where one atheist. Yeah, because, but see, here's the problem. Atheism contradicts itself. One atheist says, I believe it's impossible for God to exist. I'm an atheist, right? Then the other atheist says,
Atheists contradict each other.
yes,
If they don't contradict
the whole atheism worldview,
they're
the whole atheism, what? What? Now, wait a minute. Okay, let me ask you. Let's go through it. Atheism says, number one, you can believe that God can't exist, and you can just reject God. That's what atheism says. I got videos of atheists saying. Number two, atheism also says, no, I believe it is impossible for God to exist. That's Matt Dillahunty's position, by the way. He believes it's impossible for God to exist. Matt Dillahunty's position is the opposite of your position. Your position, everyone's position in here, is that God can exist. But not to step on any toes, is there anybody here in the room that's an atheist that believes God can't exist? Anybody? See, so here's the problem.
God, yeah.
Would you agree that
Expert being.
an atheist is saying, yes, I'm an atheist, it's impossible for God to exist, yet you guys are saying it is possible for God to exist?
Shock, can I add something here?
I don't meet any Christians that say, oh God, there's the Christian. You should call those people false atheists.
Can I add something here, please? Shock, can I add something?
Shock, may I say something?
You guys, yeah, go ahead. You guys figure out who's first and to be first, and I'll listen.
Can I just say quickly, Shock, that I think your concept that atheism is wrong because we have different views is completely ironic in the fact that there are so many Christian denominations that agree in at least one fact in Christianity.
It's wrong because of other things, but that's just one.
Because there are many Christian denominations that disagree on plenty of different things. So is Christianity wrong because there are so many different opinions on what Christianity should be interpreted as?
But they don't say God can exist. But that's a major thing of atheism.
You're avoiding my question, Shock. You're saying that because atheists disagree on some things, that atheism is wrong. But there are many denominations.
If an atheist says God can exist, that's pretty bad for atheism. Maybe this is why.
Your argument is that your argument is basically
atheism because it seems kind of
your argument is that some atheists disagree with each other on certain aspects of what atheism means, but there are also some Christian denominations that argue on what creationism means or interprets things as. It's the same thing. Whether or not it's about God existing or not, or whether Jesus Christ was the Son of God or God himself, it doesn't matter. They're disagreeing. That's your point, and that's what you're arguing. And that is where the irony comes in that there are so many Christian denominations that your argument is completely irrelevant and self-defeating.
They're contradicting the worldview itself. It's a contradiction.
Shock, let me just answer this. Atheism is simply a lack of belief in God. That's all it is. As long as you don't believe in God, you're an atheist.
No, it's
Doesn't
not.
matter if you think it's impossible for it not to exist. Yes, it is. Now, Shock,
No, it's not.
since my camera's battery's about to die, I'm going to ask you this question. What proof and evidence do you have that phishing is accurate, website phishing is accurate and correct?
Let's please not do that. Let's please not do that here.
Yes. With lightning said that God.
There's a difference between some atheists saying that God can exist and some atheists saying that God can't exist. Because that's what atheism is.
I just want to say
Essence
that
of God's existence.
when we're talking about
Christianity's all believe that
atheists
Jesus
that are
was a real man and rose from the dead and rose again 3 days later. That's Christianity.
Right.
when we're
But we're not contradictory inside.
because just because you say that there's a possibility
Exactly. Soldier of God's got it.
but I know what Shock is saying. You're saying that when we acknowledge the possibility that we can be wrong, you're saying that that's equal to believing in the existence of that very thing.
WWIO.
Like I know what you're saying.
No. What I'm saying is you're contradicting each other. Your belief contradicts each other. Atheism says things that contradict even atheism itself. It is madness, you guys. It's full of crap.
Shock of God.
So full of crap.
I
It's
see what you're saying.
ridiculous.
I see what you're saying.
Atheism says, look, God can exist, but we reject God. Then atheism says, no, it's impossible for God to exist. Both of those things actually contradict each other.
No, they don't.
Just admit it. Say, do me a favor. Say, you know what, Shock, you're right. Those things do
No, they
contradict
do not.
each
Let me
other.
explain
How,
why
okay,
you're
then you
wrong.
tell me this. How could God exist and not exist at the same
Because we're
time?
not talking about
It's impossible.
They do
How could
contradict
God
each other.
exist and not exist at the same
Let me
time?
explain.
They do contradict each other.
Yes.
Okay.
Blue, God bless you.
Can I say something though?
Let me explain why they don't contradict each other. First of all, you've been saying that atheism. You're saying atheism says. All atheism says is that. Sorry, I'm hearing an echo, so I'm just gonna take off my headphones. You're saying that atheism says. The only thing that atheism says is a person's position on what they believe about the existence of God. All atheism says is, I do not believe in God. It is a lack of belief. Now, when we're saying God could exist, this is just acknowledging the possibility that we could be wrong. Acknowledging the falsehood of your position in possible terms, not in definite actual terms, not saying this is definitely true. We're talking the realm of possibility here. When you say I could be wrong, then that's not saying therefore I am wrong. When you acknowledge that there is a wrong answer, that doesn't mean you are wrong for believing what you believe about the rightness of that answer. The answer, let me do this in terms of a test for you. Let's say the correct answer to the question is the correct answer. However, you can believe whichever of the choices you want. Just because the answer is C doesn't mean that acknowledging that it could be C means that your belief in A is invalid.
May I say something, or are you still talking?
They may. But the thing is, we don't know what the correct answer is. The correct answer may be C, but we have no knowledge of that. In fact, the correct answer could be A. Whatever the answer actually is, acknowledging that there are other possibilities does not mean that you accept those possibilities.
Shock, may I say something? May I say something, Shock? Shock, are you there? Oh, yeah, I can say something. Alright, your argument is that atheism isn't as convincing because there are people within atheism who have different beliefs on whether God can exist or whether God does not exist. I'm not sure about you yourself, but what is your position on God? Is it impossible that he does not exist? What do you believe? Are you 100% certain that God exists, or 99%? But
yeah, I'll give you guys my position. Oh, go ahead, Blue. Were you done?
You can state your position. Are you absolutely certain that God exists, or 99%? Or
Of
anything
course, I'm absolutely certain. I'm absolutely certain. But I was, as you guys know, I was an atheist at one point in my life. But could you guys shut your mic off? Blue, would you mind shutting on? Because I'm going to give you, I'm getting feedback. Okay, thanks. Here's the thing. Number one, oh, go ahead, Blue. I'm sorry, I didn't know you weren't finished, man. Yeah, my position is I absolutely believe God exists.
That's alright, sorry. I didn't finish myself. What I was saying was, your argument is that atheism, you said something about atheism being contradictory in that some atheists believe that God cannot exist at all, and some say that God can exist. I say that myself. But you, for example, say that it is impossible that God cannot exist, as you've just explained to me. Yet there are some Christians that say that it is possible that God does not exist, but they choose to believe anyway. Is that not the same scenario? And in that case, is your argument not self-defeating?
No. No, it's not. Those people aren't Christians. Because to be a Christian, you basically put all your hope, faith, and trust in God. You come to a realization that God does exist. Otherwise, they would be like you. They'd be an atheist. They would be unsure. So I am totally positive that God exists. But here's my position why I think atheism is very evil. It is very evil. I can go through the genocide that it has done, more than Christianity ever could do. It also is madness. And we're all and when atheism says yes, God can exist, but then you have what's called hard atheism, which says no, it's impossible for God to exist. That's a contradiction. Now, but this is still under the, yes, Hitler, who actually hired atheists around him, and in the Nuremberg trial they found out that he hated Christianity. But anyways,
can we please not revert to the Hitler argument, please?
Of atheism, all right, let me finish my argument. So, anyways, in this umbrella of atheism, you have a contradiction. Okay, what I think the problem is too, and this is why atheists are less than like 5% of the world population. It contradicts each other, and another thing too, it doesn't have a good reputation. It really doesn't. Do you know? I'm going to tell you guys something. Okay, I'll tell you the contradiction. You just heard it. I don't know if you've been here. In this worldview of atheism, you can both say, yes, God exists. It's possible for God to exist, but you also can say as an atheist, it's impossible for God to exist. Both of those are contradictions. Blue Juggernaut admitted it. Both of those things contradict each other. It's like if I tell my friend Fud Mutton, don't go through the left door, go through the right door. And he goes, okay, but then I say, no, go through the right door, don't go through the left door. They're complete opposite things. They're diametrically opposed
No,
to each other.
please, let me interrupt there.
Yes, you admitted, Blue, it's a contradiction.
I didn't say that far.
Then that's madness, you guys. That's retarded. Listen, guys, that's mentally retarded to say that both of those worldviews are possible in this worldview of atheism. We're going to accept it. It's retard. It's retarding the person's brain. Both of them contradict each other.
Shock.
Can't you guys see that? It's madness.
May I interrupt there? And your analogy there was that I'm saying that it could be the left door, could be the right door. Thing is, I don't know what's on the other side. I have no idea whatsoever. You have to take into consideration what the doors look like, or what things said on the door, or whatever. It's complicated, but you can't say that I'm saying it is the left door, but it's probably also the right door. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying there is no evidence.
Dude, that's what atheism says, my friend.
But
atheism says it could be both the left door and the right door at the same time. It's a bunch of crap.
But we don't know.
This exactly. I'm not understanding something. Who puts this label on atheism? I don't see anything that says that atheism is this. I just find it to be a generalization of what people believe in. Saying they do or do not follow God is kind of loose definition of atheism, for what I've known.
Okay, W.W. Wolf, what's your position on atheism? Do you believe it's impossible for God to exist, or do you say, yes, God can exist? Or do you say you're not sure? What's your claim that you make? Or do you...
I just have no idea. I don't know what there is and what there isn't.
Yes, atheism's so rational.
I just want to jump in here with something. Can I jump in here with something? You mind? What I want to say is that it's possible for two people to agree on one thing and to contradict each other on other things, and this is the case that we have here. It's because what you're talking about has nothing to do with belief. It's about knowledge. They're two completely different things, and so because they're two completely different things, it's possible for two people to agree on one of those things and to not agree on the other thing.
Well, no, it's not two different things. It's the same topic. It's about God. One person says, now we're going to add...
They're dealing with the same. They're dealing with the same thing, but not in terms of how you think about it. One deals
right.
with belief,
I agree with you.
deals with knowledge.
Of course they are, but it's contradicting each other. For example, WWW, welcome to the
Yes,
room,
knowledge claims can
or
contradict each other,
WW2.
but if they both
He
agree
says
on
that he don't
something,
know.
it's fine.
Yeah, but see, WW2 says he don't know. So that's another position of atheism. You got atheists saying we don't know. We got atheists saying I'm positive God doesn't exist. We got other atheists saying what?
No, hold on. I don't want to hear it from you. I want White to hear it because I forget what he said. White, what did you say regarding knowledge of God's existence? Because I didn't hear what you said. I forgot.
I don't know where White's at. He's not in here. Remember, he left. Unless WW's... But anyways, fun.
Shock, may I say something? You're laughing at this.
Never mind then.
You're laughing at this
I guess we'll never know.
God can exist, and the other statements contradict.
I'm having a really bad lag here.
I mean, give me some rational thinking, huh? Go ahead, Lou.
You're laughing at atheism for having different positions, and I've told you before, Christianity, no matter how you put it, saying,
It's
"Oh,
full of crap. It's so hilarious.
please let me continue." Christianity has so many denominations, the countless number of denominations, all saying different things, quoting from the same book, interpreting.
They all believe in God. But atheists say, no, we don't believe in God. Yes, we do believe in God. Maybe
No, we don't say
Maybe
we do,
don't.
Lord.
It's just God.
We don't say we
They
do
all
believe
say
in
they
God.
don't believe in God, or they say that
It's the same when a
it's going in a different time.
it's the
Never
same when a Christian.
WW did, or Wolf did. He said that.
It's the same when.
Now Wolf says he don't know. How do we handle that? It's madness.
Shock. It's the same when a Christian says it's possible that God does not exist. There are plenty of Christians that say that, and if you say they're not true
I don't
Christians,
know any Christians that say that.
there are
I've never met one in my life.
there are people that read the Bible, that go to church, that say it's possible that God does not
Whether or not
exist.
you've met one is irrelevant.
And I have thousands of subscribers, a lot of them Christians. None of them say God can't exist.
Have you asked all of them? Have you
But
asked all
I
of them?
got all types of conflicting statements from atheists saying God can exist, God can't exist, it's impossible. It totally contradicts. Okay, anyways, let's do this. Okay, let's say you guys wanted to answer the question, what proof and evidence could you... Expert being, it's my channel. If you want to get on the mic, quit being a wussy and get on the mic. I bet Expert being doesn't have a mic.
I have a feeling that
Webs-
I have a feeling
webs-
that likes contributing
Yeah,
a
the
lot
webs
to it.
never do.
The likes contributing a lot to the fact that people are talking over each other. It's not people really bullying each other, as you say. It's a lag. I mean, I'm having a really bad lag here, and I think that's what's causing a lot of the people talking over each other. Hello, anyone? Shock, you still here?
Easy.
That proof and evidence totally pulls so Jesus Christ that will trump him, because as you know, Christianity is kicking atheism's ass all over the place. Christianity, what are we, the #1 largest group?
Amen. That is shock.
Well, give me some for atheism. Come on, guys. I'm going to let you guys talk.
I'll give you something.
Try to go ahead and wait a minute. Expert being, the Bible talks about atheism. Hold on, guys. Out of respect to expert being, I'm going to read you one quick sentence of the Bible talking about atheism. Right here, it says, "And Abraham woke up early in the morning with his ass and went to Mount Zoriah." So there you go. All right, go ahead.
May
Go ahead,
I?
guys. Try to convince me that atheism is accurate and correct. That atheism is accurate and correct.
You quoted that.
Actually,
You quoted that.
that depends on the translation, because sometimes this is donkey, sometimes this is ass. You never know.
Can I answer ShockofGod's question?
By the way,
Is anyone
did
else?
you hear Matt with the Atheist Experience show is getting into sumo wrestling?
Can people hear me? Can people hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, you can hear me.
Hey,
Alright,
yes.
I'm going to answer ShockofGod's question. You say that Christianity is kicking atheism's ass, or as I would say, arse, because I'm in England. But I would like to point out countries, Scandinavian countries, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Iceland. Take for instance Iceland. It doesn't even have a standing army. That means it doesn't really fight. They have